I died choking on my own blood, the cold barrel of my brother's gun pressed against my temple, his whisper in my ear like a lover's promise. This is for the family, Marley. You understand, right? The shot echoed through the empty warehouse on the outskirts of Chicago, a sound that swallowed the world whole. But death wasn't the end. It was the goddamn reset button I never asked for. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in that hellhole anymore. I was back in my shitty studio apartment on the south side, the one I'd rented right after college, staring at the cracked ceiling fan that still spun like a lazy accusation. The date on my phone, October 15th, 2018, hit me like a freight train. 7 years ago, before the inheritance wars, before Mom's honeyed lies turned sour, before Ethan pulled the trigger on the sister he swore to protect. I bolted upright, heart hammering, tasting the phantom copper of blood on my tongue. Trung Sin? Reborn? Whatever you call it. It felt like the universe had handed me a loaded revolver and said, "Your turn to play God." I stumbled to the mirror, gripping the sink until my knuckles whitened. There I was, 23-year-old Marley Hayes, wide-eyed and unbroken, with the same messy auburn curls and freckles that Mom always called angel dust. But my eyes, they burned with the fire of the woman who'd been buried in a shallow grave off Lake Michigan, labeled a suicide to cover the family's dirty tracks. Ethan, my big brother, the golden boy lawyer. Mom, the socialite viper who'd clawed her way from trailer park to penthouse. And Dad, Dad, whose will had sparked the whole inferno. He'd died 6 months from now in this timeline, leaving a fortune in real estate and tech stocks that everyone assumed would split 3 ways. But it didn't, because of the secret in his desk drawer, the one I'd found too late last time. A DNA test proving I was his only biological kid. The others? Adopted. Conveniently forgotten footnotes in his revised will. Mom's voice echoed in my head from that final betrayal, her manicured nails digging into my arm as she hissed, "You don't deserve a dime from Dad. You're the mistake he tried to fix." I'd walked away then, straight into their trap. This time, I'd burn it all down before they lit the match. The city outside my window hummed with oblivious energy, horns blaring on Lakeshore Drive, the distant rumble of the L train. Chicago in fall. Crisp air laced with hot dog vendors and exhaust, the kind of place where dreams get mugged in broad daylight. I had to move fast. First things first, get to Dad while he was still breathing. He was in his Gold Coast office, buried in board meetings for Hayes Enterprises, the real estate empire he'd built from nothing. I grabbed my coat, a threadbare denim thing that smelled like ramen and regret, and bolted out the door. The L ride to the loop was a blur of fluorescent lights and strangers' stares. I clutched my phone like a lifeline, scrolling through old texts from Ethan. "Love you, sis. Drinks Friday." Lies, all of it. By the time I hit Dad's building, a gleaming tower of glass and steel that screamed old money, my hands were shaking. The receptionist, a perky blonde named Tina who'd later testify against me in the suicide inquest, buzzed me up without a second glance. "Mr. Hayes is expecting you. Sign here." Liar. I muttered under my breath, scribbling my name. He wasn't expecting me, but desperation was a hell of a motivator. Dad's office was a shrine to excess. Mahogany desk the size of a small car, walls lined with abstract art that cost more than my annual rent, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Chicago River like he owned the damn skyline. He looked up from his laptop, surprise flickering across his weathered face. 62, still handsome in that silver fox way, but with the shadows of late nights and bad scotch under his eyes. "Marley, what brings you here unannounced?" "Everything okay?" I crossed the room in 3 strides, slamming the door behind me. "Dad, listen to me. This is gonna sound insane, but you have to change your will. Now, disinherit Ethan and Mom. They're not yours, not biologically, and they're going to kill me to keep it that way." He blinked, setting down his Montblanc pen with a soft click. "Sweetheart, sit down. Have you been experimenting again? The weed from that dispensary?" "No, Dad. This isn't a trip. I know things, future things. You die in 6 months from a heart attack. That's really poison in your scotch. Then they frame me for embezzlement, say I'm suicidal, and put a bullet in my head. But there's proof. In your desk drawer. The bottom one, taped under the false bottom. DNA results from that clinic in Evanston. I'm the only one who carries your genes. The others, they're plants. Mom's insurance scam from her first marriage or whatever lie she spun. His face drained of color, but not disbelief. Not yet. He stood, slow and deliberate, like a man weighing the sanity of his youngest daughter against the ghosts in his own closet. Marley, if this is some ploy. It's not. I yanked open the drawer myself, fingers fumbling for the hidden panel. There it was, yellowed envelope, sealed with the clinic's logo. I tore it open, thrusting the papers at him. See? 99.9% match. Ethan's is 12%. Mom faked the adoptions to lock in the family image after her scandals. But you knew, didn't you? You kept it quiet to protect us all. He scanned the pages, jaw tightening with each line. The room felt smaller, the air thicker, like the river outside was rising to drown us. Finally, he sank into his chair, rubbing his temples. Jesus, kid. How? Doesn't matter. Just do it. Cut them out. Set up a trust for me, irrevocable. And get security. Real security, not those rent-a-cops who look the other way for a bribe. He nodded, once, sharp and final. Okay, I'll call my lawyer. But Marley, this stays between us. If it's true, God help them. As I left the building, the autumn wind whipping my hair, a grim smile tugged at my lips. Step 1, neutralize the bomb. But revenge wasn't a checklist, it was a bonfire. And I was just getting started. The next few weeks blurred into a frenzy of shadows and schemes. I quit my barista gig, screw the minimum wage grind, and holed up in a cheap motel on the edge of Wrigleyville, paying cash to avoid paper trails. Dad's lawyer, a shark named Harlan who'd later shred my suicide note in court, drafted the new will overnight. Everything to me, with clauses locking out interlopers. Ethan and Mom got a pittance, enough to sting, not enough to buy silence. I watched from afar as Dad installed cameras, hired ex-feds for protection, and started sleeping with a Glock under his pillow. But they smelled blood. Ethan's texts ramped up. Hey, stranger. Dad acting weird. Come over for family dinner. Mom's voicemails dripped saccharine. Darling, we've missed you. Let's talk about your future. I ghosted them, letting paranoia fester. It was delicious, that slow boil. My first real move came on All Hallows' Eve, when the city dressed in masks and mischief. I slipped into Mom's gala at the Art Institute, black gown borrowed from a thrift shop, hair pinned up like I belonged among the Botox brigade. She was there, resplendent in emerald silk, laughing with donors over champagne flutes. Ethan hovered, his Armani suit tailored to hide the paunch from too many client lunches. I sidled up, clinking glasses with a fake smile. Marley, oh my God, you look radiant. Mom air-kissed my cheeks, her perfume, Chanel No. 5, always, cloying as cyanide. Ethan, long time. I turned to him, noting the flicker in his eyes. Calculation, not warmth. Sis, what's with the radio silence? Dad's been distant. You two cooking something. I sipped my drink, letting the bubbles burn. Just girl talk. You know, inheritance stuff. Boring. Mom's laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Oh, honey. Your father's will is set in stone. Equal shares for his precious children. No need for drama. The lie hung there, bold as brass. I leaned in, voice low. Is that so? Funny, I heard whispers about DNA tests. Old skeletons rattling. Ethan's grip tightened on his stemware. What the hell are you on about? Nothing. Just family secrets. I excused myself, weaving through the crowd to the coat check, where I'd stashed a burner phone and a thumb drive. Phase 2. Leaked the first crack. By midnight, anonymous emails hit Ethan's firm inbox and Mom's socialite group chats. Grainy scans of Mom's old arrest record from '98, fraud, baby trafficking rumors she'd buried under NDAs. Not the DNA, not yet. That was my ace. Just enough to make them squirm. I watched from a dive bar across the street, nursing a whiskey sour as their phones lit up like Christmas trees. Ethan's face twisted in fury. Mom's mask cracked, a hand fluttering to her throat. Sweet justice, serve cold. But revenge is a jealous mistress. As November chilled the lake winds, doubts crept in. Was I becoming them? The schemer, the liar? Late nights, I'd pace my motel room, replaying the warehouse scene. Ethan's tears as he pulled the trigger. For Mom, Marley. She can't lose everything. Was it all her? Or had I missed the rod in my own blood? Dad called daily, voice gruff, but laced with fear. They're circling, kid. Hired a PI. Stay low. I am. Love you, Dad. Love you more. Stay alive. Christmas loomed, a farce of lights and lies. I decided to crash it. Push the envelope, see how far they'd been before breaking. The Hayes family estate in Oak Park. Victorian monstrosity with gingerbread trim and ghosts in every attic beam. I arrived fashionably late, gift in hand. A framed photo of the four of us from '05 before the cracks showed. Dad hugged me fierce, whispering, "Careful." Dinner was a minefield. Turkey carved with surgical precision, wine poured like hemlock. Mom presided, all pearl smiles. "To family," she toasted, eyes on me like daggers. Ethan smirked. "Here, here. May secrets stay buried." I raised my glass. "To truths unearthed." The table froze. Mom's fork clattered. "What did you say?" "Oh, nothing. Just thinking about Dad's desk. That hidden drawer. Remember when I was a kid, playing hide-and-seek? Found all sorts of treasures." Ethan's knee bounced under the table. I could hear it, feel the vibration. Kids' games, March. Ancient history. Not so ancient. I pulled the photo from wrapping, sliding it across. "Look, we were happy once. Before the fakes." Dad cleared his throat, but Mom exploded first. "What are you implying, you ungrateful little—" "Bianca." Dad's voice cut like ice. "Not tonight." She seethed, but reined it in, excusing herself to the powder room. Ethan followed, shooting me a glare that promised payback. I slipped to Dad's study instead, rifling for more ammo. There, in the safe, ledgers from Mom's charity fund, siphoned cash to offshore accounts. Ethan's signature as co-signer. Jackpot. As fireworks popped over the suburbs, I emailed copies to a journalist contact from my old life. A Dog Tribune reporter who dismissed my suicide pleas. Anonymous source. Verify and publish. The new year dawned with headlines. Hayes heiress scandal. Embezzlement allegations rock Chicago elite. Mom's face splashed across the trib. Ethan's law license under review. They retaliated hard. Slander campaigns. Deepfakes of me snorting lines at parties I never attended. But I was a ghost now, untouchable. February brought the thaw, and with it, the storm. Dad's heart attack was scheduled for the 14th. Valentine's poetic cruelty. I tailed them from a rented sedan. Mom slipping a vial into his flask at the office holiday party redux. Ethan distracting with merger talks. I intervened, swapping the flask with saline, then tipping off security. Cops swarmed. Mom claimed it was vitamins. But the vial tested positive. Arsenic, slow and sure. Arrests followed. Ethan's bail hearing was a circus. Mom's mugshot went viral. I testified anonymously, voice distorted, dropping the DNA bomb in open court. She's no Hayes. None of them are. The judge's gavel fell like thunder. Guilty on conspiracy, fraud, the works. 20 years, minimum. But as they led her away, Mom twisted in the cuffs, locking eyes with me across the courtroom. "You think this ends it, Marley?" Blood always calls to blood. Chills raced my spine. She knew. Somehow, she'd always known the secret. And in her gaze, I saw the twist. Not just greed, but a deeper hate. For being the real one, the reminder of Dad's mistake with her sister, my biological aunt. Incestuous whispers, buried deeper than the will. I won. The empire was mine, but victory tasted like ash. Spring unfurled over Chicago like a reluctant confession. Cherry blossoms dusting the parks, but the wind off the lake still bit with winter's grudge. I moved into the Oak Park estate, the creaky floors echoing my solitary steps. Dad, frail but fierce, retired to Florida with a nurse and a promise to video call weekly. "You did good, kid. But watch your back. Vipers don't forget." He wasn't wrong. From my ivory tower, I rebuilt Hayes Enterprises, green initiatives, affordable housing in the South Side. Real change, not the cutthroat flips that built Dad's fortune. Board meetings became battlegrounds. Old cronies grumbled about the witch's whims, but profits soared, silencing most. I dated sporadically. A barista with tattoos and trust issues, a tech bro who ghosted after glimpsing my scars. Intimacy was a casualty of the grave. Every touch felt like loading a chamber. Ethan's appeals dragged on, a legal limbo that kept him in Cook County Jail, stewing. Mom. She lawyered up with the best, public defenders be damned, claiming battered woman syndrome. Dad's abuse, the root of her madness. Tabloids ate it up. Heiress or harpy. The Hayes betrayal saga. I ignored the noise, focusing on the empire, until the letters started. Scrawled on jailhouse stationery, Ethan's chicken scratch arrived weekly. Marley, I did it for us. Mom said you'd destroy everything. Forgive me. Bullshit. Then Mom's, perfumed even through the mail slot. Darling, you're playing with fire. Remember Aunt Lydia? She whispered your name in her sleep. The truth will gut you. Aunt Lydia, Dad's sister, dead in a car accident when I was 10. Mom's sister too? The pieces clicked, ugly and inevitable. That night, I cracked Dad's old safe again, unearthing a lockbox of letters. Lydia's suicide note, forged, photos of her with Dad, intimate, damning. Incest. My origins, a taboo not tying me to the family's rot. Rage boiled, but so did pity. Was I the villain now, wielding the wool like a guillotine? I hired a PI, ex-CPD, grizzled and gay, no patience for drama, to dig. His report landed like a gut punch. Lydia had been pregnant with me, disgraced, institutionalized. Mom, her sister, had rescued the baby, raising me as her own to claim the Hayes name. Ethan, adopted to fill the brother role, groomed as muscle. The betrayal wasn't just greed, it was erasure. They hated me for existing, for being the living proof of their shame. I confronted Dad over a glitchy Zoom from his condo balcony, palms sweating. Tell me about Lydia. His face crumpled, Scotch glass trembling. Marley, I loved her. Wrongly. She carried you. Our miracle, our curse. Bianca found out, threatened exposure. We paid her off, let her play mom. Thought it protected you. Protected? You let them raise me to slaughter me. I was a coward. Forgive me. The screen blurred with tears. I don't know how. Hanging up, I paced the study, the same where I'd found the DNA. Revenge evolved. Not destruction, but exposure. I leaked the letters to the PI's channels, anonymous drops to podcasters, true crime bloggers. The Hayes curse. Incest, inheritance, and insanity. It exploded, Netflix sniffing for rights. Mom's trial became a media apocalypse. Her defense crumbled under the weight of verified horrors. In court, she took the stand, a ghost in orange jumpsuit, voice cracking for the cameras. I did it for love, to keep the family whole. Marley was the intruder, the spawn of sin. Gasps rippled. I testified next, voice steady. You raised me, Mom. But you never loved me. You used me, then tried to erase me. Like Lydia. The jury deliberated 3 days. Life without parole. Ethan's plea deal, 25, testifying against her. As they cuffed him, he mouthed, "Sorry, sis." I walked out into summer rain, free but fractured. The empire thrived, but isolation gnawed. Friends from the old life, college pals, bar buddies, drifted, whispers of crazy Hayes girl chasing me. I threw myself into philanthropy, scholarships for at-risk youth, women's shelters in Pilsen. At a gala for the fund, I met Riley, sharp-eyed nonprofit director, with a laugh that cut through the din. Heard you're the queen of comebacks. What's your secret? Coming back from the dead? I quipped, clinking glasses. Our first date, deep dish at Lou Malnati's, stories swapped over gooey slices. She saw the scars, literal and not, and didn't flinch. You're not your monsters, Marley. Fall again, leaves turning traitor gold. Dad visited, frielier, but with a ring for Riley's finger in his pocket. Approval unspoken. We talk Lydia. She'd be proud. You broke the cycle. Thanksgiving was tentative. Just us three, turkey and truths. No ghosts at the table. But winter whispered warnings. A break-in at the estate. Nothing taken, but my bedroom ransacked. PI traced it to Ethan's old cellmate, a low-life hacker. They're coming for you, boss. Watch the shadows. I upped security. Drones, dogs, deadbolts. Riley moved in, her presence a bomb. We'll face it together. Christmas Eve, snow blanketing the city like forgiveness. We strung lights, baked cookies, normalcy's fragile armor. Midnight mass at St. Pat's, candles flickering against stained glass saints. As we knelt, a figure slipped from the pews. Mom, somehow bailed? No, parole hearing advanced, technicality. She approached, gaunt, eyes wild. Marley. Riley tensed. I stood, blocking. Get away. Just talk. One last time. Her voice, a rasp. I was protecting you. From the truth. Lydia killed herself because of you. Couldn't face the shame. Lies. But doubt flickered. She pressed a crumpled photo into my hand. Baby me, Lydia's arms, Dad's shadow. See? Monster from birth. Cops swarmed. My call, preemptive. She went down screaming, "You'll burn with us." Processing. Assault with intent, violation. Back to Supermax. New Year's. Riley and I toasted on the balcony, fireworks blooming over the bean. To second chances. To us. But the photo haunted. I burned it, ashes scattering on the wind. Spring brought engagement. Simple band, City Hall vows. Dad walked me, tears in his eyes. The Empire? Sold off in pieces, funds to causes. I wrote a memoir, ghost-written, but raw. Bloodlines broken, my rebirth. Bestseller, therapy in ink. Ethan died in prison. Overdose, they said. Mom followed, cancer chewing her from inside. No tears from me, just closure. Years later, with kids of our own, adopted, chosen, I told them bedtime stories of phoenixes, not vipers. Family's what you build, not what's born. And in quiet moments, staring at the lake, I whispered thanks to whatever God hit reset. I'd won. But the cost? A lifetime learning to trust the blood I chose. Wait, no, that's too tidy. The twist lingered, a thorn. One last letter, postmarked from Mom's cell. The drawer's not empty, darling. Check again. Heart pounding, I returned to the study. False bottom lifted, another envelope. Not DNA, but a confession, Lydia's hand. I didn't jump. Bianca pushed me. For you, my love. Raise her right. The cycle? Not broken, just mine to end. I shredded it, scattering pieces in the river. Let the current carry the last lie. No, the story doesn't end there. Rebirth isn't a straight line. It's a spiral, tightening with each turn. By 2020, the world had its own apocalypse. COVID locking down Chicago, masks veiling faces, but not fears. Riley and I hunkered in Oak Park, baking sourdough and Zooming board meetings. The Empire's remnants funded vaccine drives, but isolation bred ghosts. Nightmares of the warehouse returned. Ethan's gun, Mom's laugh echoing like hyenas. Dad's calls grew sparse. Florida's son couldn't chase his guilt. Marley, the book's doing what? Therapy? Good. But don't let it define you. Too late, Dad. It's all I am now. Riley overheard, pulling me aside post-call. Babe, you're more than revenge porn. You're the woman who turned poison into purpose. Her words stuck, but doubt festered. The memoir's success birthed stalkers, women claiming sisterhood in betrayal, men proposing twisted alliances. One, a podcaster named Jax, pitched a sequel series, Hayes Unraveled, The Untold Tapes. I declined, but he persisted, mailing evidence, audio of Mom's jailhouse rants, Ethan's suicide note blaming me. Marley destroyed us. She was always the poison. I burned it, but the seed planted. Was my return a curse? Had I accelerated their fall? Summer riots scorched the city, BLM marches turning to flames, National Guard boots on familiar streets. I marched too, sign in hand, justice for all blood. Tear gas stung, chance of catharsis. Riley held the line at home, pregnant now. Miracle IVF, our rainbow baby. Fight smart, love. Come back whole. I did, coughing phlegm and fury. But in the fray, a face from the past. Tina, the receptionist, now a community organizer. Ms. Hayes? Holy shit. You changed my life, got me out of that toxic job. Thank you. Small wins, stacking like bricks. Fall elections polarized everything. Trump's shadow loomed, but Chicago stayed blue-bruised. Dad voted absentee, then called, heart's acting up. Come south. I flew, Riley waddling at 8 months. His condo smelled of Benghazi and brine. We talked Lydia, really talked. She was my twin soul, Marley. Wrong, but real. Bianca? She married me for the name, hated the reminder. And me? You? My redemption. He pressed a key into my palm, safety deposit box in Miami. For after. He passed in November, pneumonia masking the cancer he'd hidden. Funeral, small, beachside. I scattered ashes in the surf, Riley's hand in mine. The box? Deeds to a trust, untouchable for the kid. 2021 brought our son, Elias, named for the prophet, voice in the wilderness. Sleepless nights, his cries a mirror to my own rebirth wails. Riley thrived in motherhood. I floundered, Empire's ghost haunting playdates. You're enough, she soothed, but imposter syndrome gnawed. Then the call, Mom's appeal, Pro bono crusader arguing new evidence. My memoir is coercion. Hearing in federal court, Chicago's federal beast. I attended, armor of power suit, Elias in daycare. She entered, withered to bone, eyes alight with mania. Marley, whispered as she passed. The crusader, a slick Ivy type, presented, forged emails proving I'd bribed witnesses. Gasps, judge's brow furrowed. My lawyer countered, forensics, alibis. But Mom took the stand unbidden, voice a croak. She came back wrong. From hell, to drag us down. Devil spawn. Courtroom hushed. I rose, unbidden. Your Honor, may I? Permission granted. I approached, microphone hot. Mom, Bianca, you raised me on lies. Pushed Lydia for love, for greed. But I forgave. Built something better. Why can't you? Her laugh, bitter. Because you're me, girl. The hate, it's in the blood. The judge banged. Contempt. But the words landed, a punch. Jury, diverse, weary, saw through. Appeal denied. As marshals led her, she spat. Check the lake. Lydia's not alone. Chills. That night, divers dragged Lake Michigan near the old warehouse. Bones, female, circa 2010. Not Lydia, another victim? Mom's ledger had hinted at more. Runaways, adopted, vanished. The press frenzy reignited. Hayes horror, serial secrets? I cooperated, turning over files. Cold cases cracked. 3 girls, Mom's charity ghosts. Her sentence, death row, federal fast track. Elias's first birthday, cake smash, pure joy. But Dad's trust revealed the final twist. Not just money, but Lydia's journal. Pages of love for me, warnings about Bianca. She'll consume you. Run. I wept, Riley holding us. It's over. Was it? 2022's midterms brought reckoning. I ran for alderman, South Side seat, platform of reform. Campaign trail, baby on hip, Riley strategizing. Debates crackled, opponents slung crazy haze mud, but voters saw steel. Win by 12 points. In office, I pushed ordinances, transparency in adoptions, ethics for elites. Enemies multiplied, developers' dad stiffed, Ethan's old firm. Threats, slashed tires, anonymous calls. Blood debt. One night, post-council, walking home from a fundraiser, Elias asleep in carrier, Riley at meeting, a van screeched curb. Masked men, crowbars gleaming. I shoved the stroller behind trash bins, dialing 911. Pace. For the family. Fight or flight. I chose fight. Pepper spray from purse, knee to groin on the first. Second swung. I ducked, crowbar glancing shoulder. Sirens wailed. They fled. Bruised, but breathing. Cops. Tied to Ethan's cellmate. Hard hit. I pressed charges, but the message sank. Vengeance eternal. Riley insisted on therapy, group for survivors. There, stories mirrored mine. Betrayed, reborn. Forgiveness isn't absolution, the shrink said. It's armor. I wrote letters. To Ethan, burned unread. To Mom, sent. I release you. Hate no more. Her reply, from death row, blank page. Fitting. 2023, Elias toddling, Chicago blooming. Alderman Hayes, bills passed, headlines faded. Riley's nonprofit merged with mine, power couple, they called us. But the lake's bones? Autopsy ID'd a girl from Mom's orphanage scam, 2005. More dives yielded fragments, a network unraveled, headlines screaming Hayes hellhole. I testified to Congress, voice for the voiceless. Betrayal starts small, ends in graves. We stop it with light. Standing ovation. Dad would have beamed. Winter solstice, family ritual, bonfire in the yard, stories shared. Elias giggled at flames. Riley leaned in. Proud of you. Me too. And meant it. Yet, dawn brings doubts. Rebirth's gift, clarity. Curse, memory. The warehouse lingers, gun's cold kiss. But I load my own chambers now, with hope, not hate. 2024 dawned with promise and peril, elections national, stakes sky high. As alderman, I backed Harris, stumping in wards where Hayes' name still evoked whispers. From ashes to advocate, crowds chanted, but trolls online spat venom. Which Hayes, blood on your hands. Riley monitored feeds, deleting death threats. Ignore the noise, babe. Focus on us. Elias turned 3, a whirlwind of questions. Mommy, why rain sad? I'd scoop him, spinning tales of storms that cleared for sun. Therapy helped. Unpacking the rebirth trauma, naming it PTSD with a supernatural twist. You're not cursed, the doc affirmed. You're resilient. Spring brought a bombshell. Anonymous tip to my office. Video file. Timestamp 2018. Warehouse footage. Grainy security cam I'd missed last life. There. Me entering. Arguing with Ethan. Mom in shadows. Vial in hand. Poison for me? No. The shot rings. I crumple. But before, Ethan's whisper. Do it quick. For her. Her? Not Mom, Lydia's ghost. Zoom. Mom's face. Directing, but tears streaming. Regret? Or acting? I confronted the source. Jax, the podcaster, grinning over coffee in a Loop cafe. Bought it off a guard. Exclusive? Blackmail, you mean? Nah. Leverage. Spill the real tea. Lydia's lover wasn't just dad. Ring any bells? My blood iced. Out. He slid a photo. Lydia, young, arm around a woman. Mom's twin? No, another sister? Journal's gaps filled. Triplet, separated at birth. The third Hayes daughter, disowned, vanished. Digging consumed me. P.I. traced. Cousin Elena, alive in Seattle, tech mogul under alias. Email Marley? God, the stories. Meet. Flight west. Rainy coast. Her waterfront loft sleek as suspicion. Elena, my mirror, auburn curls silvered, eyes sharp. Bianca told tales. Crazy sister drowned her baby. But I knew. Lydia called before the accident. Bianca pushed her, jealous of the love. And me? You were the bond. She hated that. Elena poured scotch, Dad's brand. I ran. Built this. Gesture to Empire 2.0. AI for adoptees' rights. Alliance forged. Joint foundation. Exposing trafficking rings. Back in Chicago, headlines shifted. Hayes heirs unite against legacy of lies. Mom's execution loomed. Illinois rare, but federal override. I petitioned stay. For truth's sake. Denied. Last visit. Plexiglass barrier, her skeletal form. You win. No. We all lose. I pressed hand to glass. Why the tears? In the video. She cackled, wet. For the girl I was. Before your father, before Lydia stole him. You? The knife twist. Confession spilled. Triplet packed, broken. Bianca poisoned Dad slow, framed me to claim all. Ethan? Her pawn, brainwashed from adoption day. End it, she rasped. Mercy. I nodded. Walked out. Execution. Private. Me absent. Notification. Done. No fanfare. Just ash. Summer. Elena visited. Elias calling her Auntie Moon. Family. Remade. Fall crisis. City scandal. Developers bribing council. My opponents entangled. Whistleblower. Me. Hearings grilled, but evidence ironclad. Resignation wave. I rose, eyed for mayor. Riley, you? Running the city? Why not? Redeem it all. Campaign launch. Grant Park. Crowd electric. Speech. Chicago's bloodied but unbowed. I've died here, metaphorically, and risen. Let's build from the bones. Cheers thundered. Polls surged. Winter primaries. Brutal. Smears flying. Opponent unearthed dirt. My therapy records leaked. Unfit. Delusional. Backlash. Sympathy swell. She's real, voters said. Election night. Confetti blizzard. Riley kissing tear-streaked cheeks. Mayor Hayes. Inauguration. January chill. Oath on Lydia's journal. Serve justice. First 100 days. Housing reforms. Ethics overhaul. Enemies sued. Frivolous. Dismissed. Jax. His pod canceled for fakes. He faded. 2025. 5 years post-rebirth. Elias starts school. Elena funds scholarships. Dad's grave visited. Flowers left. Cycles broken. One eve. Riley and I on the balcony. Now City Hall view. Wine warming palms. Regrets? None. You. She smiles. Second chances? Best gift. Fireworks for pride burst. Colors painting the sky. Below, the city pulses, flawed, fierce, mind to mend. But in quiet, the hook lingers. Death's echo, rebirth's roar. I whisper to stars, thanks for the reload. And mean it. Epilogue twist. Drawer revisited. Final envelope. My hand? No, future me. Blank, but scented. Chanel. A warning? Or peace? I seal it, unopened. Some secret sleep. The end? Nah, just chapter 2.